Welcome back to Algebra 1. We're learning how to solve equations, and how you do it is by doing, first check there's an equal, then do the opposite. Sounds easy, right? We've done it when we had adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing, and now we're doing ones that we have to, before we can say y is x not alone, that sometimes we have to do something first, or it might not be alone for more than one reason, okay? That probably sounded confusing. That's okay, I'll show you and it'll make sense. Alright, so here's our first one. Y is x not alone on its side of the equals? Well, there's two things. It's being multiplied by 2 and it has a plus 7. So which one do we deal with first? We deal with the one that is further away and work our way to the one that's closer to the x. I draw that arrow every time because I'm dyslexic, and everything I can do to help organize is going to help me be successful, which I have something else to tell you in a second about that. Alright, so I'm going to start with the plus 7. What's the opposite of plus 7? Minus 7. What I do to one side, I do to the other. Those cross out. 15 minus 7, what is that? Let's write this down. I'm going to bring down what I don't mess with. I didn't mess with the 2 and the x. So it is 8, right? 15 minus 7 is 8. So bring down everything I didn't mess with, the 2x, the equal sign. Don't forget the equal sign. People get confused with that. Okay, now y is x not alone. It's being multiplied by 2. What's the opposite? Divide by 2. What I do to one side, I do to the other. Those cancel out. 8 divided by 2, x equals 4. Put a box around it. Okay? Now then, the other thing is in your book, it shows you how to put this number back in and check it. And you say 2 times 4 is 8 plus 7 is 15. It's a true statement. It's probably right. I don't usually do the check. The reason why is because I'm dyslexic. I know you're getting tired of hearing about it, but when I miss a problem, it's probably because I flipped something or miscopied something, and then in my brain it looks right, and I do it again when I check it, and I still get the wrong answer. So when I was your age, I would put it back in and check it. I'd do the same dyslexia wrong thing twice. I would check that it was right. I'd get my test back and it was wrong, and it was so frustrating to me. So the checking doesn't help me. If it helps you, go for it. But if not, if you're like me and the checking doesn't work for you, throw that out. It's a waste of time. For me, it's a waste of time. But if it's good for you, do it. Look in your book, see how they're doing it, and if it helps you, do it. Alright. Y is x not alone? Well, it's being multiplied by 1, divided by 3, and a plus 6. So we're going to start from the furthest away and work toward the inside. The furthest away is the plus 6, so I'm going to do minus 6. What I do to one side, I do to the other. So now I have 1/3 x equals negative, I'm thinking slow today for some reason. And then I was trying to write backwards. Negative 14. There we go, that's it. Alright, so now, y is x not alone? It's being multiplied by 1/3, which is the same thing as divided by 3. So what's the opposite of multiplied by 3? Divide by 3 is multiplied by 3. What do you do to one side, you do to the other. Those cancel out. And then you're just left with multiplied by 1, which is 1. Now 14 times 3, I don't know my 14 table is that high, so I'm going to peek. It is 42, negative 42. That negative goes for them both. But you would do it on your calculator if you needed to peek. Alright, let's try this one. Y is x not alone? Well, we have a problem. There's 2 x's, so it's ugly. So instead we ask ourselves, why is it ugly? 2 x's. How do we get the x's together? We sing, gathering up your terms, 2 on each side, stowing away the time. Okay? So these are the same, so they can be gathered up. You can only add or subtract things in algebra if they have the same letters with the same exponents, but they do. So 7x minus 3x is 4x. Bring down what you didn't mess with, the minus 8 and the 24. Now y is x not alone. It's multiplied by 4 and minus 8. We're going to start with what's further away and work towards what's closer. The opposite of minus 8 is plus 8. What you do to one side, you do to the other. You bring down what you didn't mess with, 4x. And this is 32. Now, y is x not alone. It's being multiplied by 4, so what's the opposite? Divide by 4. What you do to one side, you do to the other. You mark those out. How many times does 4 go into 32? 8 times. So x equals 8. Okay, let's do another one. This one's got something ugly, parentheses. So we're going to get rid of those first. To get rid of the parentheses, we use the distributive property. I draw the arrows on there every single time. It helps keep me organized with being dyslexic. Alright, so I bring down what I didn't mess with. 3x times x, 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 4 is 12. And now what do I do? Well, now I got 2 x's. Gather up the terms. Get them together. 3x plus 5x is 8x. Plus 12, bring down what you didn't mess with. Now, we're going to work from what's further away to what's closer to x, saying y is x not alone. It's got a plus 12, so I'm going to do minus 12. Those cancel out, bring down what I didn't mess with. And 8 minus 2 is 6. 2 minus 1 is 1. Y is x not alone is being multiplied by 8. What's the opposite? Divide by 8. What I do to one side, I do to the other. Those cancel out. And x equals 2. Boop, boop, boop. There you go. Let's try this one. We got to use the distributive property first on it. Bring down what you didn't mess with. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6, because 2 negatives make a positive, equals 21. Now, too many x's, got to gather up the terms every time. Let's sing. 4x minus 3x is 1x, but we're cool and we just write x, because we want it to be understood. Plus 6 equals 21. Y is x not alone, it's got a plus 6. What's the opposite of minus 6? What you do to one side, you do to the other. X equals 15. Ta-da! Let's do some more. See how our time's going? Okay, this one. Now, you could do the distributive property, because that's what's making it ugly. A fraction in parentheses. But it would actually be easier to remember to divide by a fraction is to flip it and multiply. That comes from the Black Eyed Peas song. Turn up the radio, blast the stereo louder. And the real song says, and pump it. But we say, and flip it. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to flip it and multiply both sides by negative 5, 6. Okay. Now the 5's cancel out and the 6's cancel out. And I'm left with x plus 3 on this side. And, what did I do? 6 times 5, 330. Let me look, because I don't know this off the top of my head. It's going to be, we're going to multiply by 5 and divide by 6, and that is negative 55. Because it's negative. Alright, now y is x not alone, plus 3, we do minus 3. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So x equals negative 58. And then remember, it doesn't matter which side you write the x on. Okay, if you have a temperature of 95 Fahrenheit, you can have hypothermia. So we're going to change it to Celsius. So Celsius is our x. Y is x not alone. It's being multiplied by 9/5, and it's got a plus 32. We work from the outside in, so we do minus 32. Those cancel out. So that's, it's not 330. 9, 5 minus 2 is 3, 9 minus 3, there we go. Oh, so now 63 equals 9/5 x. Y is x not alone. It's being multiplied by 9 and divided by 5. I'm going to take care of the 5 first and multiply both sides by 5. Those cancel out. 63 times 5 is 315 equals equals 9x, y is x not alone, is being multiplied by 9. I divide both sides by 9, and x equals 30. I'm flipping things. Sorry. 35. I almost said 53. All right. Ta-da! So if you have a Celsius temperature of 35, it's too low. All right, here's one more. Y is x not alone. It's multiplied by 30 and added 24. We start with what's further away and work toward what's closer. So we do minus 24 to both sides. Those cancel out. 14 minus 20, 114 minus 24 is 90. Now, y is x not alone, it's being multiplied by 30. What's the opposite? Divide by 30. What we do to one side, we do to the other. 90 divided by 30 is 3. So x equals 3. Ta-da! All right. Hopefully, this will get easier. If it seems confusing, study the examples in the book, do your homework, and I promise it's going to get easier. Math is fun.